Good evening. Okay, it is January 29th, 2024. Day 29 of doing this. And, oh God, I have to sneeze. This is going to be ugly. I hope it's just one. So a lot of times probably most times when I sit down and do this, I have no idea what I'm going to say until I start saying it. But tonight I had a couple of thoughts that to me felt important for my own personal development, but also I think it might be helpful for someone to hear. And by the way, this bird's nest is really not looking good today, so we're covering it up. Yeah, so I was at WeWork today and just doing like the job hunt and trying to get some stuff done. And one theme that has been coming up since I started doing these videos, and probably for a longer time than I realize, is this idea of trusting ourselves, and more specifically, losing trust in ourselves. I've said in multiple videos before this that if we view ourselves like we would view a friend or a colleague or a sibling or a parent, then it would be very easy for us to stop trusting ourselves to do things that we say we're going to do, in the same way that we would lose trust in our parent or our friend if they said they were going to do something and they didn't. But the self is a little bit more elusive than that, because we bargain with ourselves. Like, ultimately, a deal that we make is between us and us. There is no other party. We are both parties when we try to trust ourselves or bargain or whatever. And so the idea of losing trust with yourself is also just as elusive, because there's really no clear second party to be let down. Or if they are let down, you can kind of like put it under the rug and address it 20 years down the line. But with friends, it's a bit harder to do that unless it's like a small infraction of trust. It's a big infraction of trust, kind of hard to keep being friends with that person. But you can't not. I mean, you don't have to have yourself as a friend, but it's really nice to have yourself as a friend. So if you break trust with yourself over a long enough period of time, then it kind of becomes easy to just not trust yourself anymore, and then not do the things that are important to you, because you just know that you're going to disappoint yourself. So I wasn't really sure what I would be getting into by doing this practice of recording myself just talking, but more and more what I'm realizing is that I am showing myself that if I want to do something, I can do it. And if I set my mind to something and I make the goal achievable, at least in the short term, enough to build some momentum, then over time, I'll start to see that I'm not that undependable of a person. And I can start to like unbargain with myself and realize that the things that I said I was going to do for myself are actually important, and it's really invaluable that I stick to those things. And so anyways, I wrote down this little quote. It's not a quote because I said it, but I guess it's a quote. If you write it, I don't know. I wrote down this little thing, this phrase that popped into my head. And the phrase is, we lose confidence in ourselves when we stop having reasons to trust ourselves. So one more time, we lose confidence in ourselves when we stop having reasons to trust ourselves. And what that means is, for me in particular, is that I don't know that in December I would have had the confidence to do this. Just to say what I'm saying right now to 31 subscribers, 31 people. I don't know that I would have had that confidence back in December. It wouldn't have existed. There was no precedent for me to say like, you know, oh yeah, you've been doing this for a while. You can like now pour your heart out to strangers and feel good about it. Because on January 1, and again, I didn't post that video, I recorded something like this and it was so uncomfortable. I was like, oh, this sucks. I hate talking to a blank camera and no people. This is awful. And then day 2, it got easier, and then down the line until today. And so I didn't have any confidence to really do this like I'm doing it right now because I didn't have trust in myself. So we lose confidence in ourselves when we stop having reasons to trust ourselves. So I have to give myself more reason over time to trust that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And then as a positive result, I will grow in confidence toward whatever thing it is that I'm doing. And it's just such an interesting correlation, this connection between self-trust and self-confidence. So yeah, I don't know where maybe that it fits into your life in particular, but for me, it's absolutely key to how I view, till the day I die. Am I going to be a person who trusts himself and who others trust? And then will my confidence grow as a result? So, yeah, that's the thought. More practically speaking, when I'm thinking about what February holds for this channel and for these videos, I have a lot of ideas around improvements, just progressive improvements that keep me being productive and excited about this, but keeping the stakes low. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I've had this sort of renewed sense of confidence around the ability to do this just because of the consistency. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I'm going to leave one thought at the end of this video that had to do with kind of my day. And the final thought is around sort of renewed sense of excitement around your work and your art. And it's just a snippet from an interview between Rick Rubin and Edward Norton that Rick Rubin posted on his Instagram today. And Edward Norton's talking about, how when he thinks about his life on his deathbed, he wants to see it as a tapestry, and that his life is comprised of new and exciting adventures that, fill the creative void. So I'm paraphrasing. It's probably not a perfect thing, but I'll post it right after this so you can listen to it. And yeah, I sense that there's a change coming in my life with respect to architecture and film and photography and writing and all of that. And it's a little terrifying. I'm not going to lie, but this definitely gave me a little bit of a boost of energy to think about what the next phase of my creative life looks like. So have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow for day 30.
I've actually had to repeatedly kind of meditate, talk to myself, and just go do an exercise of imagining I'm on my deathbed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back and knowing that I want a tapestry. I don't want the repetitive experience of playing dress up and make believe ad infinitum. I want to do other things. I want to just experience other things. And then I read this, I actually read this essay that Václav Havel wrote. The guy who was the playwright who became the president of Czechoslovakia. Incredible figure. And he wrote this essay called Second Wind. And he basically said that in a creative life, you do this wave of work and you exhaust it. And then you have two choices. You can start to repeat that work in one form or another. You can essentially keep revisiting the same ideas, or you can stop and refill yourself with life and be willing to start again.
A whole new adventure.
Yeah. Repeatedly